My daughter vanished on her wedding day. Not ran away. Not cold feet. Not a dramatic pause before some romantic return. She vanished. And for 4 years, I lived inside that silence, until a knock on my door shattered it. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me take you back to the morning everything went wrong. The sun rose that day like it had something to celebrate. I remember that clearly. Too clearly. Golden light spilled through the curtains of the bridal suite, turning the white walls warm, hopeful. The kind of morning you pray for when your only daughter is getting married. No rain, no clouds, just promise. My daughter Elena had always loved mornings. Even as a child, she'd wake up early and sit by the window with her books, whispering stories to herself like the world was listening. That morning, she stood in front of the mirror in her wedding dress, hands trembling just slightly as she touched the lace at her waist. "Mom," she said, her voice soft, "do you think people can really start over?" I laughed, brushing it off like any normal mother would. Of course they can. That's what today is. A beginning. She smiled, but it didn't reach her eyes. I didn't notice then. Or maybe I did, and I chose not to see it, because parents are very good at that. By noon, the venue buzzed with life. Guests arrived in waves of perfume and laughter. White chairs lined the garden, flowers arranged just the way Elena had planned since she was 17. The band rehearsed quietly. The photographer adjusted his lenses. Her fiancé, Marcus, looked every bit the perfect groom. Tailored suit, charming smile, shaking hands with relatives like he belonged to us already. Everyone loved Marcus. He was successful, polite, from a good family, the kind of man neighbors brag about. Everyone except Elena. At least not the way a bride should love her groom. But again, I didn't see it. Or I pretended not to. An hour before the ceremony, Elena asked to be alone. "Just 10 minutes," she said. "To breathe." Her bridesmaids teased her gently. "Don't cry off your makeup." One of them laughed. Elena smiled. That same tight smile. She hugged me before closing the door to the small side room near the garden. "I love you, Mom," she said. It felt heavier than it should have. I kissed her forehead. "I'll see you at the aisle." That was the last time I ever saw my daughter. When the music started and Elena didn't appear, people assumed nerves. 5 minutes passed. 10. Marcus checked his watch, chuckling awkwardly. "She's probably fixing something." The wedding planner slipped away to check on her. She came back pale. "The room's empty." We laughed at first, nervous laughter. Someone joked she must be hiding. Then someone noticed her phone, lying on the vanity, screen dark. Her shoes, still there. Her veil, folded neatly. Elena had walked out barefoot, without her phone, without a word, and no one saw her leave. Panic arrived quietly at first. We searched the bathrooms, the parking lot, the garden paths behind the venue. Then loudly, police, sirens, guests whispering, Marcus shouting her name like volume could bring her back. I remember sinking into a chair, staring at the empty aisle. White flowers. White chairs. No bride. By sunset, the wedding was officially canceled. By midnight, my daughter was officially missing. The investigation dragged on like a wound that refused to heal. Police questioned everyone. Friends, family, Marcus. He cried during interviews, held my hands, promised to find her. The media showed up. Headlines turned my private nightmare into public entertainment. Bride vanishes on wedding day. Cold feet or dark secret? Was love a lie? They asked me if Elena was depressed, if she was unstable, if she had ever mentioned wanting to disappear. They never asked if someone had given her a reason to. Weeks turned into months, months into years. No body, no note, no trace. Elena became a cold case. Marcus moved on faster than I thought possible. Within a year, he sold the house they were supposed to share. Within 2, he was engaged again. He sent me a polite letter explaining that he needed closure. I never replied. Because how do you close something that never ended? 4 years passed. I learned how to live with a ghost. I set one less plate at dinner, avoided her room, pretended the ache in my chest was manageable. Every knock on the door made my heart race. Every unknown number felt like hope and terror intertwined. And then, on a quiet Tuesday afternoon, someone actually knocked. She stood on my porch like she had stepped out of the past. Same age Elena would have been now. Same nervous posture. Same eyes. Wide. Guilty. Desperate. "I'm sorry," she said before I could speak. "I should have come sooner." "Do I know you?" I asked, my voice barely working. She swallowed. "My name is Rachel. I went to college with Elena." My world tilted. Elena never mentioned a Rachel. Rachel clutched her bag like it was keeping her upright. "She told me, if anything ever happened, I should find you." My hands started shaking. "Where is my daughter?" I whispered. Rachel looked past me, into the house like she was afraid of being overheard. "She didn't run away," she said, "and she didn't disappear by choice." The air felt thin. "What are you saying?" I demanded. Rachel's eyes filled with tears. "I helped her leave," she said, "and I've spent 4 years trying to decide whether telling you would destroy her or save you." I let her inside. That was my second mistake. Rachel sat at my kitchen table, staring at her hands like they were stained. "Elena was scared," she began. "Not of marriage, of what came after." I laughed bitterly. "She loved Marcus." Rachel flinched. "No," she said quietly. "She was afraid of him." The room went silent. "She told me things," Rachel continued. "Things she never told anyone else. Control, threats, what he'd do if she ever embarrassed him." My chest burned. "Why didn't she tell me?" Rachel looked up, pain etched into her face. "Because every time she tried, you said Marcus was perfect." The words hit harder than any accusation. I had said that. Over and over. Rachel reached into her bag and pulled out a folded piece of paper. "She wrote this the night before the wedding," she said. "She didn't want it found." I unfolded it with trembling hands. It was Elena's handwriting. "If you're reading this, I finally chose myself. Please don't look for me. I'm not lost. I'm hiding." My vision blurred. "Where is she now?" I asked. Rachel shook her head. "I don't know exactly. Only that she's alive. And that she never stopped watching from a distance." "Watching what?" Rachel hesitated. "You." Before I could ask another question, Rachel stood abruptly. "I shouldn't have come," she said. "But something's changed." "What?" I demanded. "Marcus is looking for her again," Rachel said. "And this time, he's not pretending it's about love." The door felt very far away. "What do you mean?" Rachel met my eyes. "He found out she's alive." And just like that, my daughter's disappearance was no longer a mystery of the past. It was a danger in the present. What my daughter was running from Rachel didn't leave right away. After she told me Marcus was looking for Elena again, she stood frozen near my kitchen door, like she was waiting for me to scream, collapse, or throw her out. I did none of those things. Instead, I said the one thing that surprised both of us. "Sit down," I told her, "and tell me everything. From the beginning." She hesitated. "Once I start," she said quietly, "you won't be able to unknow it." I pulled out the chair across from her and sat. "I've lived 4 years not knowing if my daughter was dead," I said. "I can survive the truth." Rachel nodded slowly, and then she began. I met Elena during our second year of college, she said. We were paired in a psychology elective. Ironic, she added bitterly. Elena was already engaged to Marcus back then. She wore the ring like armor. Anytime someone asked about her future, she'd lift her hand and smile like the decision had already been made for her. At first, Marcus seemed perfect even to us. He picked her up from class, sent flowers, called constantly, too constantly. She'd get nervous if she missed one of his calls, Rachel said. Not annoyed, nervous. I frowned. She never mentioned that. She wouldn't, Rachel replied, because she didn't have words for it yet. The first real crack showed during finals week. Elena had stayed late at the library studying with Rachel. When she checked her phone, there were 12 missed calls from Marcus. Not texts, calls. He was furious, Rachel said. Not that she was late. He was furious she hadn't warned him she'd be unreachable. I remembered Marcus joking once. I just worry about her, that's all. I had smiled. I had liked that. Rachel leaned forward. That's how it starts, she said. Concern that slowly becomes permission. Things escalated after the engagement. Marcus began deciding things for her benefit. What she wore to dinners. Which friends were a bad influence. How often she visited home, including me. She told me he hated when she came here, Rachel said softly. Said you filled her head with doubts. My chest tightened. He never said that to me. Of course not, Rachel replied. He was very careful about which version of himself he showed. Rachel paused, fingers twisting together. There was one night, she said, when Elena showed up at my dorm at 2 a.m. She was shaking. That got my attention. She said Marcus had gone through her laptop. Rachel continued. Read her private messages, her journal, everything. I stood up abruptly. That's illegal. Rachel nodded. He told her it was proof of trust, that couples shouldn't have secrets. I thought of all the times I'd told Elena that marriage required compromise. Had I helped build this cage? The real turning point came 6 months before the wedding. Elena discovered something by accident. Marcus had left his tablet unlocked on the kitchen counter. A message notification popped up. She didn't recognize the name. She opened it. And that was when she realized she wasn't the first. Marcus had been engaged before. Not once. Twice, both engagements had ended abruptly. No weddings. No explanations. The women had disappeared from his life completely. Elena tried to look them up, Rachel said. One had changed her name. The other had moved out of state and wiped her social media. I felt a chill creep up my spine. That's not a crime, I said weakly. No, Rachel agreed. But what Elena found next was worse. Marcus had access to their finances, their email passwords, their personal documents. He liked control, Rachel said. Not love, ownership. Elena confronted him carefully, calmly. He didn't deny anything. Instead, he laughed. He told her every woman gets scared before marriage, Rachel said. That he just helped them see reason. What reason? I asked. Rachel looked me straight in the eyes. That once you're his wife, leaving isn't an option. The room felt suddenly very small. Elena started planning her escape quietly. She knew if she ran before the wedding, Marcus would chase her. Legally, socially, financially. But if she disappeared during the wedding, he'd be humiliated, publicly questioned, distracted. She needed chaos, Rachel said, so she could vanish. Rachel helped her prepare. Fake emails, a hidden savings account, a network of friends who didn't ask questions. Elena didn't trust me with where she was going, Rachel admitted. She said the less I knew, the safer we'd both be. I swallowed hard. So you really don't know where she is? I know where she was, Rachel said. For the first year. That startled me. You let me grieve while you knew she was alive? Rachel's eyes filled. She begged me not to tell you, she said. She said if Marcus ever suspected you knew, he'd use you. The words made horrible sense. Elena had been careful. Too careful. She changed cities, jobs, names. She never stayed anywhere long enough to be tracked. She sent me one message a year, Rachel said. Always from a new account. Always short. Rachel pulled out her phone and showed me screenshots. I'm okay. Still free. Tell Mom I'm sorry, but don't tell her anything else. The dates matched my darkest days. Birthdays, holidays. I felt both comforted and furious. So what changed? I asked. Why come now? Rachel hesitated. Because Elena broke her own rule. She showed me the final message. He knows. I don't know how, but he knows I'm alive. My blood ran cold. How? I whispered. Rachel shook her head. She didn't say, only that she was scared, and that if anything happened to her, I should come to you. A long silence settled between us. Marcus came to see me 2 weeks ago, Rachel added quietly. My heart slammed. He asked questions, she said. About Elena, about me, about the wedding. What did you tell him? Nothing, Rachel replied, but he didn't need answers. She leaned closer. He already had a list. That night, after Rachel left, I couldn't sleep. Every memory replayed differently now. Marcus insisting on driving Elena everywhere. Marcus answering her phone once and laughing it off. Marcus asking about her passwords, in case of emergencies. I had called it devotion. I had been wrong. The next morning, I did something I hadn't done in 4 years. I went to the storage box where I kept Elena's things. I opened the journal she'd left behind, the one I'd never been able to read. This time, I forced myself. Halfway through, a sentence made my hands tremble. If I disappear, it's because staying would cost me my life. I finally understood. My daughter hadn't run from love. She had escaped captivity. That afternoon, my phone rang. Unknown number. I answered. Hello? A familiar voice spoke, smooth, calm, polite. Mrs. Alvarez, Marcus said. I hear you've been asking questions about Elena. The past and present collided violently. What do you want? I asked. He sighed lightly. I just want to bring my fiancé home. My skin crawled. She's not your fiancé, I said. There was a pause. Then his tone changed. She still is, he replied. She just forgot. The line went dead. I sat there shaking, realizing something terrifying. Marcus wasn't searching for Elena out of love. He was reclaiming what he believed belonged to him. And for the first time since my daughter vanished, I understood my role. I wasn't just a grieving mother. I was leverage. And Elena knew it. The women he erased. After Marcus called me, I didn't cry. That surprised me. 4 years ago, I cried so hard I thought my body might split open. But now, there was something colder moving through me, clarity sharpened by guilt. If Marcus thought I was leverage, then he'd underestimated me. I didn't call the police. Not yet. Instead, I called Rachel. He contacted me, I said the moment she answered. Her breath caught. What did he say? That he wants to bring his fiancée home. Rachel was quiet for a long moment. Then we're out of time, she said. Rachel came over that night, and for the first time, she told me the part she'd been avoiding. There are others, she said. Women like Elena. I already knew that, but not how many. 3 that I know of, Rachel continued. Possibly more? She pulled out a folder she'd kept hidden for years. Inside were names, old social media printouts, addresses that were no longer current. They didn't vanish the way Elena did, Rachel said. They were erased. The first woman was Hannah Brooks, engaged to Marcus 8 years ago. Her friends described her as loud, confident, impossible to control. After the break,